We're here today with Greg Jemmeson from Jemmeson and Fisher, solicitors and accountants. Hello Greg, how are you?
Hi Brian.
Thought we'd start talking about auctions and auctioneers and auctioneers' authority to sign contracts. Everyone thinks that as soon as the hammer comes down, the auctioneer can sign for everyone and anyone. How does that work?
Well, essentially, the good news for auctioneers is that the High Court has basically said that they have what's called an unfettered discretion at the end of an auction. They have an irrevocable authority, which means it can't be overturned, to sign for and on behalf of all the parties to conclude the contract. Now, essentially what that means is when we get to the fall of the hammer, all parties should be nice and happy. The purchaser's made the final bid, the vendor's happy because it's met reserve, and then all of a sudden things go pear-shaped. Okay. It's not uncommon then for a purchaser to suddenly say, I'm not going to sign. I didn't make that bid. Because it may end up in court, the auctioneer's job then is to take his vendor's instructions and explain, well, this could get messy, you could be required to enforce the contract through the courts, or the other alternative is then to open the auction back up for bidding. But essentially, the simple answer is yes, the auctioneer has the right to bind the purchaser to the contract by signing for and on their behalf.
So let me give you a scenario, and it happens all the time. Husband comes along, bids on the property and buys the property, wife's not there, and he tells the auctioneer that the solicitor told him he could sign the contract on behalf of the wife.
In that certain instance, what would happen here is best practice again he should have had authority up front and written authority from his wife, because he would be bidding on her behalf as well. However, as a practical note here, if the husband would sign on his behalf, he would then need to sign a second time for and on behalf of his wife. If it turned out later that he did not have authority, that would be a matter between him and her, and she would be able to avoid the contract, but the husband certainly wouldn't.
So you're saying the auctioneer shouldn't sign on the wife's behalf because she's not there and he doesn't know whether he wants to buy it or not?
In this particular instance, the auctioneer, in my opinion, would not sign on behalf of the wife because there is no written authority for the husband saying that she is to be a registered bidder. So in that case, as far as the auctioneer is concerned, the only party that would legally be bound to that contract would be the husband.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate that.
No problems, right?